Hey, how's it going? Excuse me, just trying all kinds of different angles here. Okay, so I have a special presentation for you today. I'm partially facetious about this. I'm just going to read you something. I'm going to start off with reading you something entitled "Only a Fool Would Say That." I feel like I get that a lot. Not in so many words. The words I got were more along the lines of, oh, you just want a Star Trek world where everything is free. To which I say, yeah, sure, I'll take it. This type of remark is usually delivered dripping with scorn for some reason. Oh, right. The reason? It's socialism, okay? Like, that doesn't even make sense. And so what? People are working, they're busy, they're purposeful. Star Trek people. They're educated. Ooh, wrong there. Editing on the fly, because I'm going to put this on my other couple of platforms. Anyway, well, where was I? Oh, right. So the people are busy, they have jobs. They're not like they're lazing around smoking opium, socialists. Like, I don't know what the problem is. They're educated, and the system is designed to support itself. The idea of any of that seems preposterous, unthinkable, which is funny, and demonstrably, empirically incorrect. The fact that Star Trek is known well enough to scoff at. The thing is, can you... Hold on a second. Can you conceive of making it a reality? So yeah, that got like all the flow got messed up there. Just let me, if you wouldn't mind, let me repeat that. The fact that Star Trek is well known enough to scoff at. Let me really start way over. Sorry. The idea of any of that, or I guess if the idea of any of that seems preposterous. Oh, I see what I did there. See, I wrote stuff and okay, so sort of like I was answering my mind and no one else could hear it. So what I was writing, last thing I wrote was that the system was designed to support itself. What I was thinking at the time was, yes, those systems can fall apart and people will make the connection of Social Security like falling away and disappearing and becoming terrible, and like that's a reason to get rid of it. If it were to run out of money, it would be because the same people that are trying to get rid of it have also been trying to feed off of it, like carrying it. Well, it's not carrying yet, though. That's the thing. I don't think they can really get at it, but I think some funds have been able to be like sloughed off of there for... It didn't sound like purposes that were to benefit the rest of the nation as a whole. They were not specific that I remember, so I feel like they were just shady and ended up in people's pockets or, you know, some other stop along the way to their pocket to obscure the path of it. Because tax money is not supposed to be going straight from the taxpayer to the legislationer's pockets. It's like, no! Well, it's not even like no, it's just plain no. Sorry, let me get off my soapbox and start over for real here. So, you got that background. So now the sentence might make more sense. The system can support itself. like Social Security, because it gets paid into continuously. And if it's left alone, it's not going to run out of money. It's like a continuing loop. It should just work if no one messes with it, right? So same goes for the Star Trek sort of theory. Okay, now moving on to repeat what I said before that I didn't feel like was very clear at all. The idea of any of that seems preposterous, unthinkable, which is funny and demonstrably empirically incorrect. If you have the Social Security model in mind, see, I neglected to put that actually in the text here. I'll have to fix that when I get done. Anyway, the fact that Star Trek is well known enough to scoff at that's your proof. If you're making fun of the Social Security aspect of it, or the socialism aspect of it, which you hear me kind of blending it, but I kind of mean to, because it's representing a similar situation. And so, in the Star Trek universe, it's in the script for it to be like unassailable, and actually no one's after it because they've moved past that, because it's the future. It's the future that, yes, I aspire to, so shut up. Okay, so the thing is, can you conceive of it? Of making it a reality? Can you conceive of making the Star Trek socialism life a reality? Can you allow yourself to picture in your mind yourself living that life? Can we just let ourselves there? Let ourselves... get writing in a hurry, I just leave all kinds of stuff out. Can we let ourselves imagine ourselves there? Ooh, that's kind of a big chunk I left out. Looks like I did that a lot. I wonder if I have some kind of dementia trying to move in. Oh, I shouldn't say that, because then my brain will be all, oh, go be demented? Okay, scratch that. Don't do that. I don't need to be any more muddled. But you know what? Okay, there we go. I'm doing shorthand. Okay. But, can you even let the idea in your mind of, what if you're not having to worry about rent and paying for healthcare and food and crime and all of the things that you're all worried about, when here's this model put in front of us? Yes, it's a fictional story. That's okay. You can live with it being that. It's not going to hurt you. It's fictional, remember? Just imagine. And that ain't gonna hurt you either, apparently. Though I wonder the way people are so against the idea. It's well, you can't even let that, I don't know, it's just a loop I get stuck in, I guess. But where am I? In that world, and if you can and do, can you imagine yourself in that world? If you can and do, then boom, that's your first step taken in that direction. Just the mere imagining of it. Oh my God, go ahead and think about it. I don't think the thought police are going to be able to get you on that one. That's your first step taken in that direction. If one can go from skeptic to participant, even better. We see others' lives improve, and we all want a piece of that, too. It just seems unnecessarily harsh to say, only a fool would say that. It's hurtful, especially when one's only trying to help. God, can you, not write like a cave woman? One try help. When one's only trying to help, and knows that people's minds tend to allow themselves to look at with greater openness stuff they see someone else they know looking successful at it, you know, like whatever they're doing, they're looking good. And again, like, I think it's just human nature to be all, well, I would like my condition to improve like that too. Then that's fine. It doesn't have to be a competition, which is another lesson of the Star Trek. They have figured out how to make it so there's enough of whatever is needed to go around. Like, there's no needing to hustle and scrabble and compete like freaking starving gladiators or something. It's like, we don't even live in that world anyway. I don't know where that came from. Moving on. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. It's called Following Suit. Following the fool, even. Wink. What if things did get better for us? For you? Star Trek template doesn't work for you? Feel free to offer your own presentation. Seriously, if someone has any other ideas, step up. No need to wait for an invitation, just get started. It's amazing what just doing that will set in motion. Even if the idea doesn't take hold, join the club. There will be critics and competition, and not every idea will gain a foothold. That's okay, it's good. There are a crap load of us and a lot of permutations to exhaust before enough of us will be satisfied enough to reach a consensus. Wow, that I really wanted to stumble over that. In the song, only a fool would say that. I'll get to it. The scenarios told in the verses are stories of people whose lives sound not entirely whose lives sound like they're not entirely happy with their lot, but are so tired, burnt out, and uninspired that they can't even see an image of anything other than that of their daily life and no more. And that's a sad dead end. And sometimes I think, well, I know, speaking from personal experience, that we sometimes put ourselves in that place because we're so tired and burnt out. It's like when you feel like you don't even have a minute to think of anything but eat, sleep, work, repeat. It's like you almost shut off all other sort of ways that something else can come in and lighten at least your mental load, you know? But that is a capitalist pull yourself up by the bootstraps terrible brainwashing effect. Maybe shake it off for your own good. Just a suggestion. Oh, speaking of suggestions, please take a moment to look at my signs. I actually will be talking about a form of media as I move along, so let me bring them into better focus, but could be something on there might need to have been stated beforehand, just in a friendly way. So, I just realized that was probably audible. I wish I could just have it on, you know. The licensing, they've made such a pain of it. Anyway, back to what I was doing. So yeah, too tired to even think of anything else. They only need a bit of help to move them from their malaise. A gentle reminder that this is not all there is. To remember a time before the miring into drudgery and head down slide into a depressive state. One where we fall into a belief we can't have better or do better or be better. Heart and mind, what is there to lose if misery is the only thing we know? Why is there no question mark? It's disease, delusion, and we can overcome it. Return to ourselves and to normal. And that's where that ends, because then that was like 2 nights ago, I think, or it wasn't even night. My hours have been so weird, but two, when I went to sleep for the night style sleeping part. When I woke up the next day, my handy YouTube algorithm had a short video about Only a Fool Would Say That, which is a song by Steely Dan, if you don't know. And Steely Dan, I think a couple of them have passed on, and I don't even know if they were still together before that. I know that they were music. They were in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. So, substance abuse. Need I say more? And I didn't listen to them, like, on purpose when their stuff was coming out new, because I was into other stuff. And, but, whoa, calm down. But, I always knew that they were, like, great, respected musicians. Anyway, fast forward to, like, past couple few years, especially when I'm all, like, athletic and outside on my various cycles, you gotta have a soundtrack while you're out there riding, right? So, I started listening to them, and you know, that's a way where you get to hear a lot of lyrics and things. And you know, I haven't been like a working or a physical actual musician for a long time, because of the thing that made me sick, that like sort of shut off one of the sides I needed to musician with. So but it didn't take that part of me out of my mind, you know. And I to the degree that I could do it now, it's just the impairment is just kind of sometimes I can do like well, but I never know when that is. It's like whenever my nerves decide that they're going to let me play well. So I just don't do it very often, because it doesn't sound good. It doesn't feel good to hear it. It's like, even after all this time, and it's been like over 30 years now since I got sick, or around that long, and like have not been able to play that I had been able to. It just is like, I don't know, it's a letdown. Like, you just don't, I don't want to subject myself. I don't want to subject myself to what I used to be able to do. So, anyway. But, you know, when you listen, none of that goes away. And so, every instrument now I've gotten to have like an intense listen to, and even lyrics, which have always, I've been like, here's an example of how bad I am at hearing what the heck a lyric is saying if it's not the chorus. Until I got a Rolling Stones music book that you learn, like, with music, bars and notes and lyrics, like Rolling Stones Complete. You can get that, like, I'm sure Led Zeppelin Complete is a thing. I had a Beatles Complete. It just has the sheet music. There, come on, Brand, there you go, kicking in the middle of things. So yeah, it has the sheet music and then the lyrics. And so it wasn't until I got that Rolling Stones book that I knew what the hell Mick Jagger was saying. I had so much wrong. I just had to invent whatever I thought he was saying, because, you know, once in a while he'll like say something really loud and it's very like audible and clear. You know, the enunciation is clear, that you know what the words he's saying in that moment are. But the rest of the time it was just incomprehensible, basically. So I got the book and it was like, oh wow, oh okay, oh wow, oh like everything was a kind of a huge surprise. You get the gist of the song or whatever. Like, you don't think looking at a video is going to tell you anything helpful, because those are crazy. They have nothing to do with they have nothing to do with stuff. It's like some weird art director idea. Doesn't necessarily, at least it doesn't look like that's the case. I don't know. Like, the bands I was in, I think we made one with Nat Society, and I think there was no MTV situation. I can tell you that. Anyway, very primitive, but so this song, though, this particular song, while I have listened to it a bunch, I really had not paid much attention to anything but the chorus, because it's very almost yacht rock sounding. It's very like breezy and pleasant, and you're like cruising around on your little machine, and you're like, this is nice, and I just wasn't really paying attention. So then when I knew it was saying something to me, I went to YouTube, where you can hear the music and also see the lyrics at the same time. So like, I did catch obviously bits of them here and there, so I kind of had like the gist of it. And then when I looked at the lyrics, I was like, oh, okay, well, that's kind of along the lines of what I was thinking. But then, going back to the next day after I wrote all of that stuff, this short video about, it was like, what was the beef about, only a fool would say that. And it was about Imagine by John Lennon. You know, the song that says, imagine all these things, and it just kind of like wipes the slate away. And I understand, because he does talk about being a dreamer. And what I talk about is dream it and then start doing it. Or at least start dreaming it. In regards to, well, he was always the peace and love guy that he would come out and talk about, but then, like very many of us humans, personally, he was not as peaceful and loving, but an aspiration that he was given to someone else does not mean he did not aspire to it himself. And artists and musicians, or musicians and artists of all types, tend to be a little high-strung, sensitive, crazy even. I think the more brilliant, the closer they are to crazy as well. So, and also, just because someone is any one of those things, they're just like, for some reason we elevate them more than somebody that's just a butcher. But, you know, the same things go on in both kinds of lives. So I just feel like we lose sight of that. Anyway, but see, all John Lennon was saying was, imagine if we did these things. Imagine, like, the things that he said about religion. Well, if you think about religion in a certain way, you understand that in a lot of ways it controls us. And then it's kind of like, once you become aware of that and can apply it to your own life, then it just starts like a whole, you know, knocks over all kinds of dominoes. But anyway, the reason why I say that is because I will say similar things about my aisle on this matter is ascension. And like, if I find a cool thing, I want to share it. Not like trying to tell people to do anything. I will make suggestions, and I do that because it's like, I want to do this, and I want people I want people to join me, you know. And but I'm not trying to be all like, do this and culty or weird or anything like that. I'm not going for that. But anyway, I will say things on social media like, you know, talking about like Gaza or even Ukraine. I'll be like, at some point, somebody's got to be the one that puts down the weapon or just says, I ain't going to go do this anymore. And we kind of saw that with deserters here during the Vietnam War, where they would like go into Canada or Mexico or wherever they could escape to and not get sucked into that whole grinder. And I feel like it's in very high focus right now in both of the places that I mentioned, where the people in those situations kind of got thrown there. I mean, some people made things happen, but the whole bunch of the rest of the people were just sort of like, you did that where we live, like we're in the middle of having a life and you people start doing all of this. And not that I didn't kind of feel that way before, but I guess I just feel it more intensely now. And I feel like the people on the ground in those places are feeling it more than me. And I'm just like, they got to be the ones, and in other places where things like that are happening, where people are being hurt and people are there as active participants, although they may not be like wanting to do what they're doing or wanting to be under order to do what they're doing, or also to like walk into harm, because the people they're walking in on as their duty to go do whatever involves harming these other people. And not too many people are just gonna sit there and let you attack them. I mean, people will defend themselves, and you can't like be mad at them for that. It's a reflex, and it's like, of course you're gonna defend yourself if you can. What are you talking about? So but yeah, and I guess it's just insane to think that there's gonna be people that are just gonna go, you know what, like get like once they're on scene, once they arrive at the situation, and there's the sounds and the smells and the sights, and they already knew what they were headed for. Like, the Middle East is not like the land of peace. It's kind of known for warring for centuries. Like, oh my God, the whole place must be so ready for all of that to like be done already. Like everything on that land, from the elements in the dang ground to the people living on top to the air above, that like everything must, the sun shining on, like, can I shine on a different situation, please? I'm the sun, lighten up. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like it's gotta, all of these things start somewhere, like with someone just deciding they're not gonna do it anymore. And I'll give you an example. Even East Germany, how that ended is some guy had like his wife and kids on one side of the wall, and then he was on the other side in the west. But for some reason he was able to go over on the other side, like to work, or he was able to spend time with them or something. But something happened where he wasn't able to get back over to the other side. And I think when that happened, they just kept you, regardless of anything written down anywhere. Like, it wasn't a great time. It wasn't a great place for like independence or freedom. Or if you don't know about it, look it up. It was not good. So anyway, this guy's over there. Oh, I know what it was. Is he had like an infant or something that he had left behind that he had to get back to. Something desperate on the other side. Something separating him from the family, and it was a big deal. And he got trapped on the east side, and he went up to the guard. He said, look, I got to get back over there. Like, something's going to die if I don't get back there and make it not die, or, whatever the thing was. And the guard just kind of like, I don't know, like, this is from the description, this is what I get. The guy was just like, fuck it. Go do whatever. And then the other guards are like, oh, okay, is that what we're going to do now? Okay, cool. And then they just start letting people go back and forth. And that's kind of the way it went up the chain. It was like the people had no more stomach to do it to each other because, like Ukraine, both sides of those walls were together, and then the Soviets came along and decided to, put that demarcation line, wall, barbed wire, tangle, whatever it was, down there, like all of it, at some point, and separate those people. And that is like such a mind F. Ooh. I have thoughts, but I'm gonna keep them to myself for now. But that's what I'm saying, is like, after a certain amount of time, I guess, it just got to be too much for everybody. And everybody was like so glad that somebody said the thing that everybody was thinking, like, I don't want to do this anymore. This sucks. And it went like wildfire. Like, it was over so fast. Reagan's over there, come on, Mr. Gorbachev, put down your wall with his stupid press op. And the people themselves were like, I am sick of this crap. I don't want to do it anymore. And that's how things end. That's how bad things end. That's how good things start. It's also how bad things start. But it's always like one effer that decides that they are not going to take something anymore and it's going to get better. They're going to stop doing something. They're going to start doing something. I find that hopeful. And also inevitable. The way things are in life, sometimes some of those things that have to happen for a reason have to happen. And the reason being, if they don't happen first, the other thing can't happen yet. I mean, that's kind of how it is. And it seems like some things that you might refer to as biblical, but we've been waiting for a long ass time, and we're like, when's that gonna happen? Actually, some of those things have happened. If you look, like the seas turning red, sounding all scary. Oh my God, everything's gonna end after that. That's the worst. That happened. Hi, we're still here. So chew on that for a minute. But anyway, yeah, I mean, I feel like all of these things have an expiration date, and so many things they have to be changing, because I don't know if you're aware of this, but like the whole like galaxy is in transit, and then that affects like temporal things, like the way we are feeling time. But also what is going to happen with that is planets that are named after like your astrological sign, they'll be assigned a new name, and your thing will be something else. Like, planets are going to have different assignations. Just that alone, if you think about it, that's kind of crazy. That's heavy. Like, you may not believe in astrology or not, but if you think of that whole rest of that stuff about the whole galaxy moving, and that is going to change a planetary assignation. And you may not believe in astrology, but it also has like other stuff, like astronomical stuff, cosmological stuff. Not a hairdo, but in cosmology, planets and space and shit. So yeah, that changing, like, that's huge. That, I don't even know how to describe how big that is, because I don't have like the best understanding of it all, you know, like, it's just, already my mind is just blown. That's all I can do. Either go ahead and hit the showers. But so I mean, back to only a fool would say that. Yeah, okay, call me a fool, but things do change, and so it's not foolish to be optimistic. It just blows my mind that only a fool would call somebody else a fool for knowing that change will eventually happen. You want to, like, I'm thinking of people that are constantly complaining about the way things are, and then they don't do anything but offer complaints. Don't like what have you got to offer? Can you have any ideas to make it different? Like, you're unhappy. What would make you happy? Start there and then go back from there and figure out how to get there from the unhappy to the thing that would make you happy. I mean, just a suggestion. But anyway, all of that said, the song, give it a listen. It's a pretty good song. Oh, I'm trying to lose my teeth, but it's a good song. Thank you and good night.